You are thinking how to deal with Taeyeon and Jungkook. Taeyeon is really mad at you and you believe she won't be calm without troubling you. This was a peach blossom debt that Jungkook had provoked on his own blind date. What did it have to do with you? It's really headache, but you were mad too, thinking about the fact that he had not divorced you and went on blind dates with other women, that she even called him her boyfriend. It felt extremely uncomfortable that you wanted to laugh in anger. He still had the nerve to tell you that you are his wife. If you are his wife, then why would he go out with others? Unknowingly, anger rose up in your heart. Jenny looked at you, leaning on another couch. Sarang, he doesn't give up on you mean. Does he know that Rowoon is his child? You immediately turn to her, his child? Yes, Rowoon looks so similar. You can tell he is Jungkook's child at first glance. She sat unconcernedly. These words made you apprehensive. You pursed your lips and thoughts became chaotic. If Rowoon is his child, then that strange man in the car back then. Memories were a little fragmented with all kinds of emotions from the past. In the corner of your heart, you accepted this fact but suppressed those emotions that made you breathless. Don't mention these things. I don't want him to know about the child's existence. If something happened, Jenny, you must help me. You seriously said, although Jenny don't understand your pain, she nodded and agreed. She is good friend. She didn't need to ask anything. This man's skin was very thick. He started to call you daily and said things like new lover when the young man and women first fell in love. They often did this kind of boring things. You are no interested on it, but seems he's enjoying it. John Jungkook, if you are really bored, then I have something that I want you to do. What is it? Tell me. I hope you can take care of the peach blossom debt you has caused. He was stunned, but a moment later, he thought of something as his lips curled up. Oh, are you jealous? You sneered. Young Master John really thinks too much. Maybe you are enjoying these peach blossoms. It doesn't matter what you both are, but please don't implicate me. He was silent for a while. Did she want to find trouble with you? He said in a low voice. Who was she? Of course, there was no need to mention it, but you felt that it was extremely mocking, so you said with irritated tone. I don't know who you mean by she. You don't need to say these words to stab me. His lips curled up. Otherwise, it will only make me think that you care about me very much. Why? Your expression changed when he called you like that. His voice was deliberately lowered, then it became magnetic, like a slowly pulling violin. It suddenly crashed into your soul. This man used to call you like this years ago. It reminds your old memories. You felt that there was some starlight in front of your eyes. You blinked and bit your lower lip. Anyway, I don't want to help you clean up this mess. That has nothing to do with me. You coldly rebuked and cut the call, then looked at the screen with annoying face. Jenny held her face by the side with a depressed expression. Why she feel like your temper was becoming bigger ever since you met with him. But you didn't do it on purpose. When you saw him in front, your heart get restless and it annoyed you that you want to crush him. You had mentioned it several times. That looked like you are concerned about it. You will not resolve it, but let him solve it himself. Thayon insulted your work, so if you don't stab him a few times, it will be hard to quell the anger in your heart. That woman said that he is her boyfriend. You're extremely mad for some reason. She was excited when she got message by Jungkook asking for her free time to meet up. So they fixed the time and location. It was the same restaurant from last time. He didn't have the mood to choose another place. His image is eye catching. He came here 2 or 3 times. That worker also remembered him. Thayon saw how people admire him. Of course, she knew how dazzling he was, but she felt uncomfortable. When she thought that you had snatched away such a man and it was because that she called you over, she felt extremely regretful. Such an outstanding man. Why didn't she have the slightest intention of guarding against him at the time? That was something that any woman would be moved by when they saw it. She nervously looked at the man when he sat in front of her. He took the initiative to ask her out. She bit her lower lip. Jungkook, one sentence successfully lifted man's cold eyelids as he gazed her fiercely. Miss Kim, I'm afraid we're not so familiar with each other that we can call each other by name. He was just like before, cold and ruthless. That didn't carry any warmth or emotion. She felt her heart tremble. Didn't we went on a blind date? What's the problem calling each other by names? His eyes were somewhat mocking as his fingertips casually tapped on the table. That's right, we went on a blind date, but Miss Kim, remember what I told you? I have told you since the first time we met, right? Obviously, you're not the type I like. Her face pale, this man said such a words directly in front of her face. It's extremely ashamed, but even if she knew that she was very low, she couldn't help but like this man more. She clenched her fists under the table. The hatred and jealousy spread like fire. It's because of her, right? He frowned. Why? I was the one who went blind date with you. Then why you treat her differently? What is so good about her? He looked at her coldly. The gaze was extremely cold. That felt she was nothing. She complained. She really wanted to be the one for him. She can even change herself how he liked, but the man in front wasn't even moved. I'm afraid Miss Kim misunderstood. She doesn't have you on her, so don't waste your time. Her heart was bitter. I called you out today to tell you clearly, don't harsh her. She was surprised but sneered. So that's how it is. She actually went to complain. What a petty woman. Do you like this type of woman? Do you know that she already has? He suddenly stood up and interrupted her coldly. I like such a petty woman. What can you do to me, Miss Kim? Girls should pay attention to shame. He looked at his surroundings. If I find out that you harassed her again, don't blame me for consequences later on. He turned around to leave. She get extremely cold. She didn't expect him to have such a deep feeling for that woman. It has only been a short while. She thought she will have chance with him, but why? She grabbed her purse and chased after him. John Jungkook. She looked at his back angrily. What do you think she has with me? You don't deserve to know. He got into the car and drove away. She clenched her fists. You suddenly sneezed in the middle of meeting and said sorry embarrassingly. Jenny looked at you concerned. Are you okay? You catch a cold? You rubbed your nose and shook your head with a smile. I'm fine. Let's continue with the plan for this week. After meeting, you both went to take a look at design, then have lunch. When you returned to the office, there was actually guests. Kim Dahyun came with her friends. Miss Eva, they all liked the designs you designed for Jisoo. Coincidentally, they heard that I know, so I brought them over. You wouldn't mind, would you? They looked at you. You felt uncomfortable. Why you felt that they didn't came here with good intentions? How could she be kind enough to introduce customers to you? All you can feel was trouble just looking by them. But you fake a smile. Miss Kim introduced business to me. Why would I mind? You took out design books and let them see if even you knew that they're not actually here to make an order. You didn't know how Jungkook solved the problems. Whether they could reconcile successfully or not, they should not burn you in it. But this man didn't even handle this matter, so you excuse yourself and went to make a call. Jenny stayed there to look after them. Taking the initiative to call me, is something the matter? He sounded like he was joking. Have you settled your matter? Is this your solution? He was stunned for a moment, then narrowed his eyes dangerously. What do you mean? She brought a bunch of people to my company, John Jungkook. Are you going to solve the problem or provoke them? There was silence for a moment, then Man sneered. She really doesn't want to give up. Since that's the case, wait for me. What? Wait for me to come over. He hung up the phone as if he was afraid you would reject him. Hearing that he wanted to come over, you didn't know but felt at ease. You didn't want to ask for help, but the Hyun came for you because of him. You didn't want to deal with it. It was best to let Jungkook handle it himself. It was fine as long as they didn't involve you in what they wanted to do. You went towards office and heard the sound of things falling. Then they shouted, "Come." One of girls slapped Jenny because she accidentally poured coffee on her. How dare you? Jenny didn't expect it at all. She stood there in a daze for a while. You immediately strode forward. What are you doing? Jenny came to her senses and poured all remaining coffee on her. Girl screamed, "Are you crazy? What the hell? You..." Jenny smirked. Women deliberately trip her with their feet, causing her to spill the coffee, then blame on her. Didn't you say that I poured coffee on you on purpose? Then if I don't do anything to prove this crime, I will be slapped for nothing. She threw cup on women's feet. Do you really think that your grand aunt is easy to bully? You dare to attack me? She rolled her sleeves and rushed over to the women to fight. You were stunned for a moment before reacting. You also quickly went forward to help her. You both almost beat women who came forward. You guys are too much. Girls burst angrily. After beaten up by you two, Diane shouted, "Eva, is this how you treat guests? I was kind enough to introduce customers to you, but you made mess." All stopped and looked at her. Your company has a bad attitude. Don't think about continuing to develop in Korea. She took out her phone. Jenny's expression changed. You dare? Hyun's lip curled up coldly. Why wouldn't I dare? You turned to look at Jenny. Are you okay? Did they touch you anywhere? You asked with dramatic concern, making Jenny stunned, but then she faked a cry. Yes, they just kicked me and accused me of using coffee to pour all over them. That's fine, but they even slapped me. She covered her face. Sarang, they deliberately came here to look after trouble. On purpose, you raise your brow and take out your phone, call the reporters, and let them see what was going on. I believe the reporters will be very willing. Let me think which reporters I should call. After all, I have been quite popular online recently, so what do you mean? Are you threatening me? Do you think I'm afraid of you? Our family is not afraid of your family. You raise your brow. Since she had already mentioned the name of the family, you didn't mind raising it too. You smiled. You can try. You, she became a little timid. She is really angry at that point. She wanted to kill you instantly. She knew that she's being impulsive, but there was no turning back. She smirked. Do you think I'm afraid of it? You smile. Miss Kim's courage is really appreciated, but can you defeat Jones? You smirk. In addition, even she and you got into fight. Jungkook is standing in middle. Probably he will attack her instead, and you don't even need to worry about it. Her friends started to discuss. It's really shameless stealing her boyfriend and using his power to oppress others. She is so shameless. Snatching a man is already her best skill. We are all ladies from noble families. Don't lower your level to arguing with her. Let's go. Her friends tried to drag her out. Jenny mocked, making Dhawan more angry. Her some friends left her behind, not wanting to get into any trouble. Then some back up her to sport. Is this called friends from noble families? Miss Kim's level is so cheap. Jenny and Joe couldn't help but laugh at her stubborn, making her embarrassed. Jenny wanted to release all of the grievance that she had just suffered, and so she bent her anger, testing Dion's last patient. It's all because of you. If not, then I would not be so embarrassed today, and Jungkook would not have been snatched away by you. Kim Sarang, I will make you regret this move. She took out something from her bag and charged towards you. Do you think he's yours? Then Raymond, you scoffed. Her friends were stunned seeing her taking dangerous move. Jenny's expression changed greatly. Dion is holding something on bottle, wine, and she threw it towards you. You couldn't react at that moment, but wanted to dodge and subconsciously turn around. But a scream came from Dion when suddenly a tall figure rushed over to block in front. Jungkook, you quickly looked up and realized that the person who came in front was Jungkook. His eyes was closed as he clenched his fists and his expression seems to be in pain. Dion immediately threw the bottle on the ground that she was holding. She wanted to come forward but saw him holding her shoulders to support himself. Seeing his painful looks, a terrifying thought flashed across your heart. You looked at the girl with unknown gaze that scared her out. What did you pour? Your eyes were frightening as if you was going to eat her. She was trembling already, seeing Jungkook in this state. It's acid. You quickly went to his back. His suit was burnt and his skin and flesh could be seen. Quickly take off your suit. He also seemed to have thought of something and tried to take off. You pulled out his suit and tried to unbutton his shirt in a hurry, but he holds your hands. You looked up at him. What are you? Not here. Are you crazy? You are at this time. Forget it. You pulled him into the restroom and picked up the spray. Turning on the water, you quickly take off his shirt and threw it on the ground, then rushed at his back. When you saw the burnt flesh, you felt something stuck in your throat. It was very uncomfortable. You resisted these feelings and kept pouring cold water for him. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead as he supported himself, putting hands in front of wall. A huge pain was coming from his back. How could you describe the pain? It was almost to the bone, but he didn't even sound out. It was actually thrown on you. What if he didn't come in time? Fortunately, he came. Jenny was so frightened that he didn't react for long, and Dion and her friends are also glued on the spot. Jenny quickly rushed and patted the door. Sarang, how is it? What do you need me to do? Hurry up and call an ambulance. Jenny immediately made a call. Dion couldn't react. Why it turned out like this? Why this man blocked the disaster for this woman? It's him who injured by her. She couldn't believe it herself. She took a few steps back. Her face was pale. Jenny called ambulance and saw Dion and her friends are still there. She thought of something and called the police over. You vicious women, you actually attacked acid. You are heartless women. Wait for your turn. I have already called the police. Call the police. Her mind was all over Jungkook's painful expression, but her friends immediately shake her to make come back to her senses. What if they get arrested and ruined family's reputation? Thayon, come on, let's go. We can't go to police station. She stumbled as her friends pulled her away. Jenny wanted to grab her. Sarang, Kim Thayon is running. Should I get someone to chase her back?